So if you're postmenopausal and you're struggling with sleep and you've decided, like me, that HRT is not for you, I want to let you know that there are little small lifestyle changes that can help you. So I've had lots of sleep issues, waking up in the middle of the night, waking up way too early before my alarm goes off, having adrenaline surges, just lots of sleep problems over the years. But I must tell you, my sleep is a lot better because of some of these small changes that I have made to my lifestyle. So today I'm going to share 19 tips, strategies, things that you can do that will help you to sleep better. So if you don't know me, I'm Karin. I'm a certified yoga teacher and wellness coach, and I've been struggling with sleep for a while. So I've been doing lots of research on things that can help me sleep, and I'm going to share with you the things that I've found. I don't do all of them, but I'm going to share every single tip that I've found to help with sleep. So the first thing is to have some kind of wind down routine, some kind of routine that's going to prepare your body for sleep. So I don't necessarily do all of these things, but I'm going to share what I've found that can make a big difference for you. So the second thing to think about is, when do you exercise? Moderate exercise, of course, helps you to sleep better in general, but you also want to think about, are you exercising too close to your bedtime? You don't want to be exercising right before you go to sleep. That's when your body is trying to calm down and to relax. You want to be exercising earlier in the day, not right before you go to sleep, because that's when your body is trying to relax and wants to go into sleep mode. So I would say morning exercise is great, afternoon even. Try not to get too close to your bedtime. Or, mid to late afternoon is probably okay. Everybody is different, so you kind of have to figure out when works for you. So that's the second thing. When are you exercising, and the type of exercise that you're doing close to bed. So of course, if you're doing gentle stretches, gentle yoga right before you sleep, that's relaxing. That's not stimulating your body generally, so that should be okay. So thing number 3 is, what are you eating and what are you drinking within the last 3 hours of your day? So you don't want to be eating a heavy meal right before you go to sleep. Again, your body wants to relax. It doesn't want to be spending a ton of energy digesting. So for me, I definitely try and eat my heavier meal earlier in the day and not right before I go to bed. So you want to be trying to eat light at dinner time, but then again, you don't want to be going to bed hungry. So maybe a light snack, a banana, something like that, maybe an hour before you go to sleep, might help you to sleep. So there are lots of foods that help you to sleep, and there are definitely foods that hinder your ability to sleep. So maybe I'll do a whole nother video about that. The next thing is, what are you drinking? You don't want to be drinking too much right before you go to sleep either, because that's just going to mean that might make you want to have to get up in the middle of the night to pee, and who wants to be getting up in the middle of the night to pee? So what are you drinking? Try not to drink too much a couple hours before you go to bed, but of course you don't want to be dehydrated either, so maybe you drink a little bit of water right before you go to sleep, or have some water on your bedside table. So if you wake up dehydrated, you can just grab a quick sip. So you definitely want to be looking at what you're drinking, when are you drinking, and the same holds true for caffeine and alcohol. So caffeine is a no-no. For me, it's 10 hours before I go to sleep. Some people, like my mom, she can drink coffee in the middle at nighttime and she falls asleep like that. I don't know how she does it, but she's like, coffee doesn't affect her. But I think for most people, staying away from caffeine, a couple hours before you're going to bed, as I said, for me it's 10, it can really stay in your system for a long time. So if you're having problems falling asleep, look at when you're having your last coffee or tea. That could be still in your system and affecting your ability to go to bed. And we know about alcohol. I don't need to talk about this too much. I'm sure you know that alcohol is definitely not going to help you sleep. Well, it might help you fall asleep, but it's more than likely going to wake you up in the middle of the night and affect your sleep. So ladies, it's either a couple of drinks or a good night's sleep. I don't know. I guess that's kind of the choice. So that's basically it when it comes to what you're eating and drinking. The next thing is, I've seen people talk about light, getting sunlight early in the morning, so at sunrise, and exposing yourself to late afternoon or sunset light. It's supposed to affect your sleep rhythm somehow. I've not tried this for myself, but exposing yourself to early morning light and late afternoon light is supposed to help. Now for me, I'm not going to get up at sunrise just to expose myself to early morning light to help my sleep. That's a complete opposite of what I think would help me. But there are some people who are morning people. So if you're up at sunrise, you could go outside, expose yourself to that early morning sun, and then again to the dusk sun, and see if it helps. I'm just sharing all the things I've learned, and that's definitely one of the things that people talk about that help them. So that's what I'm talking about when it comes to sunlight. Now, the next thing is another kind of light, which is avoiding blue light before you go to sleep. So that means TVs, computers, phones, some kinds of tablets. I'm sure you know this also, but avoiding the screens a couple hours before you go to sleep. For me, the Kindle is okay. Switching out, what you're reading. Don't read on your computer. You could read a book, like a real book with pages. We remember what those things are, right? Real books with pages is not going to keep you up. It actually might help you to relax and go to sleep, especially if the book is kind of boring and you just fall asleep. Anyway, so that's it for light. Well, actually, there's one other point about light. So you want your room to be dark blackout curtains. For me, my bedroom is not that dark, so I sleep with a mask. And it definitely helps me to sleep better, especially if my husband is working and there's a lot of light in the room. Even if he turns off the light, the computer light bothers me, so I sleep with a mask. So that could also be helpful. All right, where am I? All right, so thing number 8, having some type of quiet time, meaning meditation, journaling, prayers before you go to sleep definitely helps. Having a gratitude practice, thinking about things that you're grateful for, even if it's 2 or 3 minutes, that is generally helpful to help you to manage your stress, because stress is another thing that if you're super stressed out, which could have nothing to do with menopause, you're just stressed, it's going to affect your sleep. So finding some way to manage your stress right before you go to bed, and of course managing your stress throughout your life is going to help you sleep. So that was thing number 9. Number 10, supplements. So I'm not a huge believer in supplements, but I do take magnesium right before I go to sleep. I think it's helpful. Magnesium glycinate, it's supposed to help with sleep. I can't say if it really does or not. I haven't done a scientific study about it, but from the literature suggests that magnesium glycinate in particular will help you sleep. Lots of other supplements that have been shown to be helpful, things like CBD oil, even having, there's lots of supplements. I can do a whole nother video on supplements to help you sleep. But for me, I just take magnesium and I think it might be helpful. So, the other one I want to mention is melatonin. Melatonin, it's a little bit controversial. So I think that probably deserves a whole nother video as well. But I'm sure there are lots of other people on the internet talking about the pros and cons of melatonin. So I'm going to leave that to people who know what they're talking about when it comes to melatonin. But that's another one that has been, that some people find success with. Okay, again, looking at your sleep setup, you want to be having comfortable pillow that is at the right angle for your head and your neck, so you don't want to wake up with a crick neck, when you wake up and you obviously slept badly because of your pillow. You also want to make sure your mattress is firm. Yeah, I know we can't go changing our mattress just like that, but the quality of your mattress will help. Your sheets, your blankets, you want to make sure that, you have enough covering to keep you warm. But I know in menopause, it's like covers off, covers on, covers off, covers on. So you kind of want to make sure whatever you're covering yourself with, you can do that. Covers on, covers off if you need to, right? Okay, winding down. I think I'm at thing number 14. Sorry, it's kind of all over the place, but there's a lot. So I find having some kind of white noise helps. A lot of people talk about sleeping with white noise. I also do use rain noise. It really is nice to go to sleep to the sound of rain, drowns out my tinnitus, but it can also just be a really nice sleep aid. So you could try various different sleep noises if it works for you. Now, for those of you who suffer really badly with night sweats, hot flashes, wake up drenched, I've read a lot about different techniques to help that. There are different cooling devices, some that you can put on your bed. I've even read where you can freeze a water bottle and wrap it in a sock. And I think people put that in the bed with them. I'm not exactly sure how that works, but if somebody knows, maybe they could talk about that. But there are cooling devices that you can put on your pillow, on your bed, that help with the hot flashes and waking up sweaty. The other thing I've seen is that you can have a change of clothes. If you need to change your clothes in the middle of the night, you know, having it right nearby so you don't have to go too far to change your clothes if they're all sweaty. So that sounds, you know, that I guess that's helpful to have your clothes not too far. Okay, the other thing is I've read about sleeping with a weighted blanket. I think that actually might be nice to have a weighted blanket to make you just feel all cozy and snuggly. I've not tried one myself, but you could see if that works for you. And then the last two things is, for sure, if you're just exhausted and can't sleep at night, having a short power nap in the afternoon, if that's doable for you. They generally say not more than half an hour, because I've definitely had it where I've slept in the afternoon, like 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and then I can't sleep at night because I've slept too late in the afternoon. And that really, you know, that's really not fun, because you're like, I'm exhausted, but now I can't sleep because I had a long nap in the afternoon. But for some people, it helps. I know not everybody can take naps in the afternoon, but if you can, it might be helpful and useful. And then the last thing number 19, is to get buy-in from your partner. Get buy-in from your partner, whoever. If you're not sleeping by yourself and you have to cooperate with your partner in terms of, you know, turning off the light and whatever your sleep routine is, sleep setup, it's useful to have your partner understand what you're going through. Talk to them. I've done it. It's helpful. Doesn't work all the time, but it's helpful to have your partner understand what you're going through and get some buy-in when it comes to your sleep. Because if you're tired and groggy, you're not going to be fun to live with. So it's in their interest to help you get good sleep, right? So that's kind of it. That's what I wanted to share. Everything I've learned so far. I'm still continuing to do research, but everything I've learned so far about tips to help you sleep if you're postmenopausal and you don't want to do HRT. Because HRT apparently does help with sleep. I don't know, never done it, but apparently it does. So if you think that HRT is an option for you, for sure check it out. But this is for people like myself who've decided HRT is not for them and are looking for lifestyle changes to help you sleep. So if you have any others that I've missed, please share in the comments. If you disagree with something, please share in the comments. If you have questions, please share in the comments. So that's basically all I have today. So hope to see you again soon.